Quarterback. Tom Brady is the undisputed GOAT of quarterbacks. With a record 7 Super Bowl rings, more than any single franchise, let alone any player, and the domination of nearly every major QB stat, Brady is a football legend. He has the most ever passing yards at 89,214, the most ever touchdowns at 649, and the most regular season wins at 251, just to name a few. His postseason resume is even crazier though. 35 playoff wins and 10 Super Bowl appearances. Brady holds the record for most game-winning drives at 58, and even pulled off the greatest comeback of all time in the biggest game of the year versus the Falcons in the Super Bowl. He was the youngest and also oldest Super Bowl MVP, and will likely have the GOAT conversation for QB locked up forever. While some runner-ups might include Dan the Man Marino, Joe Cool Montana, or Peyton the Sheriff Manning, when it comes to the undisputed GOAT QB, it can only be Brady. Running back. Barry Sanders was a human joystick in cleats. In just 10 seasons, he racked up 15,269 rushing yards and 99 touchdowns, averaging an insane 100 yards per game. His 2,053-yard 1997 season was capped with him rushing for over 100 yards in 14 straight games. And while he unfortunately retired in his prime, only 1,457 yards shy of Emmitt Smith's career record, he still is the greatest to ever do it. Sanders led the league in rushing yards 4 times and had 5 1,500-plus yard seasons. Emmitt may have had the volume, but Barry had the magic, and there's no GOAT conversation at running back without him in it. Fullback. Jim Brown was so dominant, he led the league in rushing yards 8 of his 9 seasons. He averaged 104.3 rushing yards per game, a number no one has matched since, and finished his career with 12,312 yards and 126 total touchdowns. Brown played when NFL seasons were only 12 or 14 games long, yet still managed to retire as the all-time rushing leader. His 5.2 yards per carry remains the highest among retired running backs with over 2,000 attempts. He also never missed a game. Brown's dominance was legendary, and at this position, there isn't even any other names worth discussing for the GOAT title. Wide receiver. Jerry Rice's career numbers are laugh-out-loud ridiculous. 1,549 catches, 22,895 yards, and 208 total touchdowns. He holds every meaningful receiving record, and it isn't even remotely threatened. Rice had 10 1,000-yard seasons and scored 10-plus touchdowns in 9 different years. He's over 5,000 yards above the next player on the all-time receiving yards list, which is an entire career for many athletes. He also showed up when it mattered most. With 1,151 playoff receiving yards and 8 touchdowns in Super Bowls, what made Rice different wasn't just his production. It was his conditioning, route running, and longevity. And while other receivers like Randy Moss or Calvin Johnson may have been more explosive, Rice was simply untouchable for 2 decades. Center. Jim Otto was the Iron Man of centers, starting 210 consecutive games and never missing a snap for 15 straight seasons with the Oakland Raiders. He was a 10-time All-AFL selection and a 9-time All-Star, a level of dominance rarely matched at the position. He was the literal centerpiece of an offense that thrived in the wild, physical 1960s and early 70s. Otto's quickness and tenacity helped revolutionize pass protection, even as he battled through over 70 surgeries in retirement. His signature 0-0 jersey became a symbol of toughness and consistency, and there is no GOAT conversation at center without Jim Mr. Raider Otto. Tackle. Anthony Munoz redefined what it meant to be a tackle, combining size, strength, and agility in his 6'6", 270-pound frame in a way that had never been seen before. He was an 11-time Pro Bowler and was named first-team All-Pro 9 times. Munoz protected Bengals quarterbacks for 13 seasons and consistently neutralized any and all Hall of Fame pass rushers like it was nothing. His footwork was smooth, he could have played tight end if he wanted, but his gift was protecting the QB. And while Jonathan Ogden or Jim Parker might be worthy runner-ups at tackle, no one ever dominated the edge like Munoz did. Tight end. Tony Gonzalez brought basketball athleticism to the tight end position for the first time and changed the position from being a primary blocker to the team's best target. He finished his career with 1,325 receptions, 15,127 yards, and 111 touchdowns, second only to Jerry Rice in total receptions. Gonzalez was a 14-time Pro Bowler and had 6 1,000-yard seasons, despite playing most of his career without elite QBs. He never missed a game due to injury in his final 11 seasons, and while Rob Gronkowski or Antonio Gates might have been more dominant in spurts, Gonzalez's longevity and consistency easily makes him the tight end GOAT. Defensive tackle. Mean Joe Green was the beating heart of the Steel Curtain defense, anchoring a unit that won 4 Super Bowls. Though official sack stats weren't recorded until late in his career, Green is estimated to have notched over 70 sacks from the interior. He won 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards and could take over games from the tackle spot, a rare feat. Offenses had to double him constantly, and he still wrecked them. Alan Page and Bob Lilly were dominant too, but Green was simply meaner and more impactful, and is always on top of any all-time defensive tackle lists. Defensive end. Reggie White was a one-man natural disaster coming off the edge. With 198 career sacks, second all-time, White combined brute strength with freakish agility. He had 10+ sacks in 12 seasons, and once notched 21 sacks in a single year. Known as the Minister of Defense, he was a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year and led the Packers to a Super Bowl. Bruce Smith holds the sack crown, but Reggie did it faster with more force, and the GOAT crown must be bestowed to him. Middle linebacker. Ray Lewis is the only player in NFL history with over 2,000 career tackles. He also is the only player in NFL history with over 40 sacks and 30 interceptions. He was the ultimate field general, leading a Ravens defense that routinely ranked among the best for over a decade. Lewis won 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards and a Super Bowl MVP, and holds the postseason record for most tackles. His intensity, football IQ, and ability to elevate teammates made him the emotional and physical center of Baltimore. While other middle linebackers such as Dick Butkus and Mike Singletary were terrors, Ray was an era-defining force that must go down as the best to ever do it. Outside linebacker. Lawrence Taylor didn't just play linebacker. He changed what the entire position meant. With 132.5 sacks and a Rookie of the Year plus MVP combo no defender has replicated, LT made edge rushing look effortless. He forced offensive lines to create entirely new protection schemes just to slow him down. Taylor won 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards and 2 Super Bowls, bringing chaos off the edge like no one before. And he was once referred to by Bill Belichick as the greatest football player he has ever seen. After becoming only the 2nd defensive player to ever win MVP in 1986, his title as the outside linebacker GOAT was and is more or less secure. Cornerback. Deion Primetime Sanders was so good at corner, teams just stopped throwing to his side. He had 53 career interceptions, 9 defensive touchdowns, and locked down the league's best receivers like it was nothing. Sanders was an 8-time Pro Bowler, 6-time All-Pro cornerback, and won 2 Super Bowls. His athleticism and swagger made him not only effective, but magnetic. The original shutdown corner with style. Darrelle Revis was also epic at locking down receivers, but Deion turned coverage into primetime theater, and he has to go down as the best cornerback of all time. Safety. Ed Reed was so good, sometimes it seemed he knew what play was being called before even the quarterback did. He had 64 interceptions, returned them for an NFL record 1,590 yards, and scored 9 defensive touchdowns. Reed had the 2 longest interception return TDs in league history at 107 and 106 yards, and his ability to bait quarterbacks into picks was unmatched. No one turned defensive into offense better than Ed Reed. And while players such as Ronnie Lott and Troy Polamalu were epic, Ed Reed was just a step above. Punter. Ray Guy was the first pure punter ever drafted in the first round, and he backed it up. His punts regularly soared over 50 yards and pinned opponents inside the 20 with terrifying precision. Guy played in 207 straight games and was a 6-time All-Pro. He changed the way teams valued field position and helped the Raiders win 3 Super Bowls. Other punters have had big legs, but Guy made punting cool, and he remains today the only punter in the Hall of Fame. Kicker. Justin Tucker is the most accurate kicker in NFL history with a career field goal percentage over 90%. He holds the record for the longest field goal ever at 66 yards and has made countless clutch kicks under pressure. Tucker has made 24 game winners and is a 5-time All-Pro. His consistency, leg strength, and ability to hit from distance with surgical precision make him the gold standard of kickers. While Adam Vinatieri and Steven Gostkowski might have the rings, Tucker has the range and the stats. Punt returner. Devin Hester was the NFL version of lightning in a bottle. He holds the NFL record for most return touchdowns at 20, including 14 on punts. He scored on the opening kickoff of a Super Bowl, a moment that still feels impossible, and defenses literally kicked away from him, often sacrificing field position just to avoid the risk of his legs. Hester was in a league of his own as a punt returner, so much so that he was elected to the Hall of Fame as a return specialist. That's some next level dominance as a special teams player. If you like this video, YouTube thinks you'll like this next one, so stick with Football for Dummies and give it a watch.